decimal division. Okay, they've given us two values, and we've got to divide them. The very first part of setting up a division question, or maybe one of the hardest parts, is setting up the actual question. Who really goes where with this type of division? One way we can do it is try to organize it like a fraction. Do you know how this would become a fraction?
0.2 over 3.8.
Actually, it would be the other way around. It would be 3.8 over 0.2. Okay, so we take the first value and we put him on top. And the second value goes on the bottom. Okay. Now, in here, how will we set it up? What value goes underneath our division sign, and which value stays on the outside?
0.2 is on the outside.
Yeah, that's right. So the first value, really what this says is 3.8 divided by 0.2. So whatever is being divided by goes within here. So our 3.8 in this case goes underneath, and what we're being divided by goes on the outside here. So we have 3.8 and 0.2. Okay, so we set up the first part. Now, with decimal division, we actually really don't want to be dividing with any decimals on the outside here. We want to actually change this into whole numbers, just kind of like we did with our multiplication question. So the only thing is, when we do that, I'm going to move this decimal over one place to make this a whole number, right? What whole number could we make this the equivalent of? 2. And in order to do that, that decimal has to go over 1 to the right, correct? So we're going to rewrite this. It's going to be 2 divided by, but because we move this to the right one, we have to do the exact same thing with the decimal here. We have to move it to the right one. So what value is now underneath?
38.
38. So now we're dealing with 2 divided by 38. Okay? It's still an identical question. All we did was move the decimals. It's not like the multiplication where we have to re-put them in at the end. We move it one at a time to make sure this is a whole number. And now we just get into our long division. Okay? 2 goes into 3 how many times? 1. Okay? So now we do 2 times our value up here. 1. What is 2 times 1?
2.
And what do we do underneath?
Subtract.
We subtract. What do we get?
1.
1. And then what's our next step?
Bring down 8.
Mm-hmm. And what will we do from there?
How many times does 2 go into 18?
That's right. How many times does 2 go into 18?
9.
Yeah. Goes in 9 times. Let's make sure. What's 2 times 9?
18.
18. We subtract. Do we have a remainder?
0.
That's it. So your answer is actually 19. Okay? So let's do another one so we can see that process again. Let's say we have... I'm actually going to steal one from yours. Do you guys normally do remainders when you're doing questions?
We just started these, so we don't really know.
You don't really know? Okay. That's fine. We'll use that one there. So they have 1.8 divided by 0.15. Actually, this is a great question to do. Okay, first of all, how are we going to set this up?
0.15 is going to be on the outside, and 1.8 is going to be on the inside.
Great. So 0.15 goes outside, and 1.8 goes inside. Good. So I have 0.15, and we have 1.8 underneath. Okay. Well, remember we said we don't want to be working with fractions on the number on the outside, right? Also known as the denominator if it was a fraction. So I'd have to move this decimal how many places?
2.
2. I'd have to move it 2 places to make it a whole number. What would the whole number be?
15.
That's right. So we'd have 15 divided by, well, if we move this decimal 2 places, what ends up happening? We have like a blank area here.
Add a 0.
That's right, we add a 0. So what does this number now become underneath?
180.
That's right. We now have 180. Now we go about doing our division. So let's start this off. 15. Does 15 go into the number 1?
No.
No. So we could put a 0 there, but it's not really that important to do. We will. Just for argument's sake. So we know it doesn't go into 1. Will it go into 18?
Yep.
How many times?
1.
Yeah, that's right. 15 times 1.
15.
Yeah. And then what do we do?
Subtract.
What are we going to get there?
3.
3. What is the next step?
Bring down the 0.
Now what do we divide?
15 by 30.
Which is?
2.
2. 15 by 2 is 30. No remainder, 0. So our answer to the above question is what?
It's 0.12.
There's no decimal here. So the 0 is not really even important. It's irrelevant. So what is our answer here?
12.
It's 12. Okay. We do all the decimal moving at the very beginning of the question. And then we just take whatever our answer is, and that is the answer to this question. Okay? And we can always check through decimal multiplication. Right? I could always end up multiplying this value by this, and I should end up with this again, because we already technically know how to do our decimal multiplication. But that's the division part of it.